Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Anime Reborn. In this video, I'm going to be doing some gameplay and kind of a talk through of the new dungeon stage. I'm just going to bring my alternate accounts in with me. I've got my team already laid out. Basically SJW for power, which is crazy because his shadows get multiplied with all the lanes you'll see. Gohan is here for early hybrid placement. Time King to slow enemies, Rise to buff and do damage, Yamo to buff, and Speed Card is our money farm. So pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward, and yeah, let's get started. I'm just gonna make this friends only so then I could bring my alt accounts in. And we're going to get this started. So I'm not actually going to play with my alt accounts. They're just going to come in and stand around like they usually do while I place my units on my main account. And like I said, this is more of a gameplay video, not really a how-to. I always get people, whenever I label like a how-to, I always get people saying like, well, it's not really a how-to if you have like the most busted units. And yeah, I kind of agree. I have a pretty developed team. So, I mean, use this kind of as a reference, I guess, to how you could play this. This is one of the easier types of content, so I can't see it being overly difficult to find many different teams that work for this type of content as well. I'm just getting my alts positioned, and then I'm gonna hit ready here. Okay, so first things first, I always put down my farm unit, which is speed carts. So I'm just going to tuck them in. On wave 2, I place them down as per usual. And then I'm going to set his priority to 3. And then the next unit I want down is Gohan, just to stop the initial units from coming down the path. So certain paths open up as the level progresses, as the wave progresses. So for now, it's just going to be this lane. And you'll see that SJW becomes, or Solo Wu becomes super good later when all the lanes open up, because every time his shadow spawns, it'll spawn one at every lane. So every 10 enemies that he defeats, he spawns a shadow at the back of every lane. So essential unit for this type of content. So here I'm just going to let the money run up. The sooner I place Rise, the better, because after 6 waves, she provides a good buff to the units, namely SJW. As you can see here, after 6 completed waves, all rooks have their SPA decreased by 15% and range increased by 25%. So the earlier you get her placed, the better. I'm going to place Yamo down. I'm going to select my debuffs. I usually try to stay away from speed. That's the killer. Try to go with enemy health and shields if you can. And yeah, I'm going to place down Yamo if it'll let me. Come on. There we go. And then I'm just going to put some levels into speed cart, probably around like upgrade 3 or 4. And then I'll save up a little bit of money so then I can place Time King down. But yeah, as you can see now, we have 2 lanes that have opened up. And you can see now that the shadows are already coming from the first lane, and now they're already starting to spawn from the second lane. Crazy good, because they're super powerful too, and they attack flying enemies, so it doubles as an early hybrid. So even though SJW is ground and doesn't get hybrid until upgrade 4, his shadows will kill flying enemies, which is really good. So I'm going to put Time King here. You can see his radius, he's slowing down all the enemies now, and they're all going to be slowed down from all the lanes that they spawn out of. So really crucial. At this point, it's really easy. I'm just going to auto level Speed Cart, and I'm going to hit auto level on SJW now, or Solo Wu. Make sure priority 3, so then he gets to upgrade first, and then anything left over goes into Solo Wu. But yeah, So we still got the 2 lanes here. I think at wave 10 it's going to open up another lane, but like I said, every time Solo Wu defeats 10 enemies, it's going to spawn a shadow on every lane that's open. And so you can see how absurdly crazy that's going to get. Once all 5 of these lanes open, shadows are going to be 5 shadows are going to be spawned every time he defeats 10 enemies, which is absurd. And you're going to see we're going to have these enemies basically locked into their spawn near the end. But there's going to be something really important too, like by the time we hit wave 15, there's a bit of an event that happens where it spawns a bunch of bombs. Now, his ability at upgrade 6 will allow us to defeat all the bombs in one shot. So, but it has quite a bit of a cooldown on it, so we want to make sure that we use it smart. And I'll show you guys closer to when we get to that wave. But yeah, you can already see that Solo Wu, you know, he's starting to get upgraded. He's starting to pump out more and more damage. Enemies are starting to get knocked back into their spawn. They can't move fast enough because of Time King. Rise is applying her buffs while also doing damage, and Yamu is also applying his buffs. Gohan at this point is honestly useless, so I'm just going to sell him. And this is pretty much our final lineup. 5 units with basically Solo Wu doing most of the heavy lifting on the DPS end. So now we're at upgrade 6. He's now doing over 211,000 damage as a damage stat, and we have his ability access to us, although we're not going to activate it yet until we hit wave 15 and the bombs start to show up. This content is really easy to macro as well. Everything that I'm doing in this video is basically what you would do for a macro on loop, and this is great content to macro as well because you get quite a bit of currency. There were some issues earlier. I don't know if they've thrown out a hotfix for it yet, but there was some issues with the amount of currency people were getting. I'm just going to pause here for a quick sec. So notice how we've got the bomb event. So wave 15, we've got these bombs. So technically, you're supposed to have a unit down beside these bombs to destroy them. But because Solo Wu has a full map ability, we're just going to pop it. And he basically just one-shots all the bombs. And then make sure you uncheck auto use, so then we can let this cooldown run. By the time the next bomb wave shows up at wave 30, we're going to have that cooldown and ready to go again. So very straightforward stuff. Makes it easy to macro as well. Yeah, so we've got Speed Card at upgrade 7. We've got Solo Wu about to hit his max upgrade, so like I said, doing a crazy amount of damage. And let's see here. So he's at 254. Rise. I'm going to probably put Time King up next just to increase his radius. And then after Time King's upgrades, I'll move on to Rise. And that's pretty much it. By that time, we should be about wave 30. And like I was saying, the next bomb wave happens at wave 30. By that time, this cooldown should be done. I believe each run takes about 13 minutes and 30 seconds to do. It's a bit of a longer content, but like I said, it's probably worth it, especially if you run macros and you want to do something like this overnight. You'll have a ton of currency to be able to buy things like keys, reroll crystals, things like that. And then you'll also have a bunch of currency to be able to buy all the evolution items for all the new units. And you have a 1% chance to get the new Luffy, or is it Luffy or Luffy? I don't know. Like I was saying in my other video, I'm not really an anime guy. Like I like anime, I just don't know a lot of anime. I'm way better with video games. I know a lot of video games. So forgive me guys. Yeah, so here we just let it run. But yeah, you can see that all the lanes have opened up now, and look at all these shadows just running the lanes. They're crazy. And yeah, these enemies can't even get out of their spawn pretty much with this setup. I make it look easy, but the reality is getting Solo Wu to Secret is a very enduring process. You have to do a ton of farming. You have to consume a secret to evolution him. You have to run portals to get the currency to do so. It's a very tedious process to get Solo Wu to his secret monarch form. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's why he's the best unit in the game, in the current game. I mean, look at how trivial he makes this kind of content. It's almost ridiculous how strong he is. But it's really tough to get him, so it's kind of understandable. You got to put in the work. You got to play the game. You got to do the grind if you want to benefit from it, you know? So that's my motto. I mean, a lot of people say, when they see me and my 3 accounts, they'll say, holy, pay to win. But it's like, the only things that I've paid for in this game so far is VIP on each, unit display, and battle pass. That's it. Other than that, I just grind content. I do use macros, but I just do it for like overnight farms. Like content like this would be an overnight farm. When I'm at work during the weekdays, I like to run the macros. It's a time saver, right? I do agree that there's kind of a fine line between, you know, games and the game design being structured around, you know, it kind of sucks for the normal players or people who don't use macros. It kind of sucks when like a game's content is designed around the usage of macros. But, you know, I think with this new development team, I think they're doing a fair job trying to cater to both worlds. I think with this update, they've really made some good changes for people who use macros overnight. Like some of the changes to the raid shop and stuff, some of the access to the trait rerolls, the currencies, all that stuff. I think they've hit the sweet spot with it, this update. I think. I haven't really tried it all that much since the update just dropped today, but it looks like a lot of good changes. I like the changes they made to the challenges, 2 times rewards on weekends, make trait farming really nice as well. It makes it good for people who are active on this game, who kind of just come to this game once in a while and don't macro, but there's also rewards for people who do macro as well. So I feel like they're really catering to all the different kinds of players in this game, which is good. Because the more interest we can get on Anime Reborn, the more eyes we can get on it, the better. So we're starting to come to the end. We're about to hit wave 30, and I have done a ton of yapping, so bear with me. We've got our last bomb wave, as you guys can see, and our cooldown is done. So now we're going to hit that auto use again, get rid of the bombs. And that should be it. Oh, just a note that you will not clear this. You will not clear wave 30 until those bombs are destroyed. So it's really important to make sure you save that cooldown because it's got such a long cooldown. Make sure if you're using auto use not to forget to turn it off because you will accidentally use it before the bombs happen and then you're stuck in a really long cooldown. So be smart with that. These bosses are easy, 281k, they get deleted, and then once that ends, we're done. So, yeah, decent amount of coins. I was getting way lower earlier today. I was getting somewhere like 400 coins per run, which was really awful for like a 13-minute run. So they must have changed something. They didn't really communicate any changes, so I'm just going to assume because the last few runs that I've done, I've been getting anywhere between like 1,500 to 2,000 plus per run. So that seems fair, in my opinion. For content that can be macroed, that seems like a good amount. Especially when the evolution items are like 10,000 each. That seems pretty fair. But yeah, that's how you do it. From here, if you're running a macro, you would just loop on the replay from here and just do the same setup that I just did and just get it going on a loop. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I know I have a really developed team once again, so I can't really just run with like noob units and starter units. I gotta just show you guys how I complete it, because this is what the team and the units I have available to me. So hopefully this kind of guides you in the right direction. Definitely, if you're contemplating on whether you should spend the time to get Solo Wu or SJW from Solo Leveling, do it. He is the best unit in the game, hands down. He's so good in all types of content. So with that being said, guys, hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Alright, see ya.